What if the things you're chasing are keeping you from what's truly meant for you? It's a question that might feel unsettling at first, but it's one that Stoic philosophy has been asking for centuries. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words remind us that so much of what we chase, approval, success, even relationships, often lies outside our control. And yet, we pour our energy into pursuing them, only to feel exhausted, frustrated, or unfulfilled when they don't work out. Stoicism teaches us a different way. It's not about giving up or settling for less. It's about understanding what's truly within your power and letting go of what isn't. It's about acceptance, not as resignation, but as a form of clarity. It's about detachment, not as indifference, but as freedom. And it's about resilience, not as a struggle, but as a quiet strength that comes from knowing you're aligned with what's meant for you. In this video, we'll explore how these timeless Stoic principles can help you stop chasing what's not meant for you and start embracing the life that's waiting for you. Whether it's a relationship that's run its course, a goal that no longer serves you, or a dream that's been holding you back, Stoicism offers a path to peace, purpose, and profound transformation. So let's dive in and discover how to stop chasing what's not meant for you and start living the life you're truly meant to live. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control. This simple yet profound idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, and it's one of the most powerful tools you can use to free yourself from unnecessary stress and frustration. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, put it this way: "Some things are within our power while others are not." He called this the dichotomy of control, a clear division between what's up to us and what isn't. Think about it. You can't control the weather, the actions of others, or even the outcome of most situations, but you can control your thoughts, your actions, and how you respond to whatever life throws your way. When you chase external outcomes like a promotion at work, the approval of others, or even a relationship, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Why? Because those things aren't entirely in your hands. You can work hard, do your best, and still not get the result you want, and that's where frustration creeps in. Here's a modern example. Imagine you've been working tirelessly for a promotion. You've put in the hours, exceeded expectations, and done everything you can to prove you're the right person for the role. But when the decision comes down, it's not yours. Maybe it's politics, favoritism, or just bad timing. Whatever the reason, the outcome is out of your control. Stoicism doesn't tell you to stop trying or to give up on your goals. Instead, it asks you to focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, and how you move forward. So, what external goals are you chasing that might be beyond your control? Is it a relationship you're trying to fix on your own? A dream that depends on someone else's approval? Or maybe it's a goal that's tied to circumstances you can't change. Take a moment to reflect on this, because when you stop chasing what's not in your power, you free up energy to focus on what truly is, your own growth, your own peace, and your own path forward. This isn't about giving up, it's about gaining clarity. It's about redirecting your energy toward what you can influence rather than wasting it on what you can't. And that's where true freedom begins. Why do we often want what we can't have? It's a question that seems to tap into something universal about human nature. We chase after things, possessions, status, relationships that feel just out of reach, believing they'll bring us happiness or fulfillment. But Stoicism offers a different perspective. Desire, when left unchecked, can become a source of suffering. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, warned about this. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In other words, it's not the lack of something that causes pain, it's the endless wanting of it. Take Alexander the Great, for example. Here was a man who conquered vast territories, amassed unimaginable wealth, and achieved legendary status. And yet, his story is one of relentless ambition and unfulfilled desire. Even after building one of the largest empires in history, he was said to weep because there were no more worlds to conquer. His desires were insatiable, and in the end they left him empty. Stoicism would argue that Alexander's suffering wasn't caused by what he lacked. It was caused by his inability to find contentment in what he already had. This is the illusion of desire, the belief that happiness lies just beyond the next achievement, the next milestone, the next thing we don't yet have. But Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within. It's about aligning our desires with what's truly meaningful, not chasing external validation or material success, but cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. So let's pause for a moment and reflect. Are your desires aligned with what's truly meaningful to you? Are you chasing something because it's what you genuinely value, or because society or someone else has told you it's important? Stoicism invites us to examine our desires with clarity and honesty. It asks us to let go of what's fleeting and focus on what's enduring, not the approval of others, but the integrity of our own character. This doesn't mean you should stop dreaming or striving. It simply means being mindful of why you want what you want. Because when your desires are rooted in what truly matters, you'll find a deeper sense of peace, one that no external achievement can ever take away. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." These words cut to the heart of Stoic detachment, a concept that's often misunderstood. Detachment in the Stoic sense isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's not about shutting yourself off from the world or pretending you don't care. Instead, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of outcomes you can't control. It's about finding peace in the midst of uncertainty, not by avoiding life, but by engaging with it fully without clinging to what might or might not happen. Think about it this way. Have you ever stayed in a relationship long after you knew it wasn't right for you? Maybe you held on because you were afraid of being alone, or because you hoped things would change. Or perhaps you've stayed in a job that drained you, clinging to the security of a paycheck even though it left you feeling empty. These are examples of emotional attachments, situations where we tie our happiness, our worth, or our sense of security to something outside ourselves. And when those things don't go the way we hope, we feel lost, anxious, or even broken. Stoic detachment offers a way out of this cycle. It's not about walking away from everything you care about. It's about recognizing that your peace, your worth, and your happiness don't depend on external circumstances. It's about holding things lightly, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a dream, so that you can engage with them fully without being consumed by them. Here's a modern example. Imagine you've been working for years to build a career in a field you thought you loved. But over time, you realize it's not aligning with your values or your sense of purpose. Maybe the work feels meaningless or the culture is toxic. Stoicism wouldn't tell you to quit immediately or to stay and suffer. Instead, it would ask you to detach emotionally from the outcome. What does that look like? It means making decisions based on what's true for you, not out of fear or obligation. It means letting go of the need for external validation and trusting that you'll be okay no matter what happens. So, what attachments are holding you back from inner peace? Is it a relationship that's run its course, a job that no longer serves you, or maybe it's a dream you've been chasing for so long that you've forgotten why you started in the first place? Take a moment to reflect on this, because when you detach from what's not meant for you, you create space for what is. You free yourself to live with clarity, courage, and a deeper sense of purpose. This is the power of Stoic detachment. It's not about losing what you care about, it's about finding yourself. And in that discovery, you'll find a peace that no external circumstance can ever take away. Stoicism teaches us to trust the natural flow of life. It's not about passively accepting whatever happens, but about embracing the idea that every moment, every challenge, every setback, every twist of fate has a purpose. This is the essence of Amor Fati, a Latin phrase that means love of fate. It's a concept that runs deep in Stoic philosophy, urging us not just to tolerate what life brings, but to welcome it. To see every experience, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth, learning, and transformation. Think about it. How often do we resist what's happening in our lives? We fight against setbacks, rail against unfairness, and cling to plans that no longer serve us. But what if, instead of resisting, we leaned into the unexpected? What if we trusted that life has a way of guiding us toward what's truly meant for us, even when it doesn't feel that way in the moment? Here's a modern example. Imagine you've been laid off from a job you thought was secure. At first, it feels like a devastating blow. You might feel lost, anxious, or even angry. But then, over time, something shifts. Maybe you take a class you've always wanted to try, or you reconnect with an old passion. Maybe you stumble into a new career path that aligns more closely with your values and strengths. What felt like a setback at first becomes a stepping stone to something greater. This is Amor Fati in action, not just accepting what happened, but finding meaning and opportunity in it. The Stoics believed that life is like a river. You can fight against the current, exhausting yourself in the process, or you can learn to flow with it. This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or dreams. It means trusting that the river knows where it's going, and that sometimes the detours and obstacles are exactly what you need to grow. So, how can you embrace the unexpected in your own life? Start by asking yourself, what's one situation you've been resisting? Maybe it's a relationship that ended, a plan that fell through, or a dream that didn't work out. Instead of seeing it as a failure, try to see it as a redirection. What might this experience be teaching you? How could it be guiding you towards something even better? This is the power of Amor Fati. It's not about giving up control, but about finding peace in the midst of uncertainty. It's about trusting that life has a way of working out, even when it doesn't go according to plan. And when you embrace this mindset, you'll find that the unexpected isn't something to fear, it's something to welcome, because in the end, what's meant for you will always find its way. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words capture the essence of resilience, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about facing challenges with grace, learning from them, and using them as stepping stones to build something stronger. It's about shifting your focus from what you've lost to what you can create. Take Seneca, for example. One of Rome's greatest Stoic thinkers, Seneca was exiled to Corsica by Emperor Claudius. At the time, it must have felt like the end of everything he'd worked for. But instead of crumbling under the weight of disappointment, Seneca used his exile as an opportunity. He wrote some of his most profound works during that time, reflecting on the nature of suffering, resilience, and the human spirit. His exile didn't break him, it deepened him. And in doing so, he showed us that even the most difficult circumstances can become a source of strength. Resilience is what allows us to stop chasing what's not meant for us and start building what is. When we face setbacks, whether it's a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or a dream that didn't come true, we have a choice. We can dwell on what went wrong, or we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What can I create from this experience? Here's a modern example. Imagine you've poured your heart into a project only to see it fall apart. Maybe it's a business venture that didn't take off, or a creative endeavor that didn't get the recognition you hoped for. At first, it feels like a crushing blow. But resilience reminds us that failure isn't the end. It's a beginning. It's a chance to reassess, to refine, and to try again with greater wisdom and clarity. So, how can you cultivate resilience in the face of disappointment? Start by reframing your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I take from this?" Resilience isn't about ignoring pain. It's about finding meaning in it. It's about trusting that every setback is an opportunity to grow, to adapt, and to become more aligned with what's truly meant for you. Think about a recent disappointment in your own life. How did you respond? Did you let it define you, or did you use it as a catalyst for growth? Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build one challenge at a time. And with each step, you'll find yourself stronger, wiser, and more ready to embrace the life that's waiting for you. Why do we compare ourselves to others? It's a question that feels almost instinctive, doesn't it? Whether it's scrolling through social media, walking into a room full of people, or even reflecting on our own achievements, we can't seem to help but measure our lives against someone else's. But here's the thing, comparison doesn't just steal our joy, it pulls us away from the path we're meant to walk. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, understood this deeply. He wrote, "You don't have to turn this into something, it doesn't have to upset you." In other words, the act of comparing yourself to others is a choice, and it's one that often leads to unnecessary suffering. Think about social media for a moment. How often do you find yourself scrolling through someone else's highlight reel, their perfect vacations, their glowing achievements, their seemingly flawless lives, and feel a pang of envy or inadequacy? It's easy to forget that what we see online is rarely the full picture.